Rocky. I've been teaching Big Chicago Dance Sex and Popular Culture. This is my 4th year. I have capped at 120. I only have 111 right now. The course introduces students to the city of Chicago using dance as a lens, and I use popular culture, so dances and popular culture as a lens through which to talk about gender, sexuality, race, class, ability. I really focus on building community in these spaces. So before coming to class, the week before the MTV Video Music Awards are on. So I'll send them an email and give them say, tweet about this, watch this, what do you find interesting? So when we come to class, it's already interesting and happening. I have a mapping activity that I do as one of the introductions. We'll talk about that later. I have keywords. I thought I was going to get a minute per slide. I was wrong. Keywords. I introduced the framework. We talk about. I set it up to talk about popular. What is culture? What is dance? What is choreography? And in this slide, I have 20. One of the main assignments is a group assignments because collaboration is key. I have 24 groups of 5. So, because there's 24 groups of 5 that include hip hop fundamentals, hip hop choreography, West African dance, flamenco, contemporary dance, Vogue. And what it is for throughout the semester, in addition to their other assignments that the students have, they have assignments related to their group work, and they create web pages throughout the semester where they have to answer questions. They have to answer questions about demographics, about they have to read articles related to their topic. They have to do an interview person that's related to their topic. They have to do group presentations, and in the group presentations, they pair with another group, right? And for the midterm and the final, and they present collectively about their forms. If I'd have known I could have did this, I would have did this more. Just putting the different types of groups up there. So that's one of the assignments. The other assignment and that's 35% of their grade, so I'm going to talk about assignments soon. I require the students to do reading checks in relationship to the topics that we're talking about each and every single week, and that's on Canvas. Assignments are coming. That's on Canvas. I have, I have a dance performance events. They are required to go to 4 dance performance events throughout the semester. One has to be one of the part of the Dance Center Presents, one of the things, performances we have the Dance Center. The other is the B Series. The other are 2 events related to their topics. So my students are going out into the city and mostly taking classes or seeing shows. So the pole group, there's a pole dancing group. They always are so excited to take a pole dance class. They go to burlesque shows. They're going to ballet performances. They're going to flamenco. And I learn a whole lot about what's happening in the city just from them going to these very different events. One of the very first assignments I do is a mapping exercise that requires the students to go in groups or go alone, and they're not allowed to use the South Loop. They have to go to, I think it is 6 different spaces where dance happens. And I told them if they see dance happening in the train, if they're in front of a church and it announces that dance is happening here, they take a picture of it with themselves in the picture, and that counts as their event. So that's one of the very first things that we do. And then I have an attendance quiz. So at the very beginning of each class, I post a question related to the class before us, right? So what is feminism? I tell them they're allowed to talk to each other. And then they'll write what that is, and they turn that into their TA, and that's how they're accounted for that day. And then, as I said before, I was talking about the group web assignments. So you see here, one of the very first assignments for that group assignment is to do introductions. Who are you? What do you know about this subject? What's going to be your role in this group, right? And I tell them that there's going to be people who are leaders. There's going to be someone that's a note taker. There's going to be someone that's a researcher. There's going to be an organizer. There's going to be a slacker. Who are you, right? And then another one of the assignments I asked them to do was demographics. The next assignment is what are the demographics? Who, what, where? Where does your dance take place primarily in the city of Chicago? Who are the people dancing this dance? I said, where is it happening? What is the dance form? one of the very first assignments we do is talk about migration and immigration, and I discussed the largest group forms. We have an article on Polish migration to the city, and then on the Great Migration of African Americans into the city. And then I use rubrics, as we've talked about before. So my students, so it's easy for the TAs to identify. For the article summary, I have 2 article summary assignments throughout the class. Midterm presentations and the final presentations are always really interesting because the students really have to figure out how to work with one another. So I put Latin styles and ballroom up because those are 2, and I know ahead of time the groups that I'm going to mesh together. So classical Indian dance and classical Chinese dance. So they're required in the midterm to just talk about the relationship between their forms in terms of the who, the what, the where, the why. Where it happens in the city, who's dancing the form, just to demonstrate that they've done this work. In the final, when they're asked to have a thesis, and it's their opportunity now to integrate the work that we've been studying, have a thesis that's going to talk about gender and sexuality, or race and class, or immigration and migration, or cultural appropriation. So that's what happens throughout the class. And then the challenges that we have is, of course, group work. It's always challenging for the students to figure out how to work with groups. But what's different is that they are doing the work. It's always interesting for me because my TAs, it's probably the same for you all, are not in my field at all. And so they're really excited because they feel like they're taking the class. And I think that, yes, I'm at the end now. So this is, I just put this one up here to say goodbye. This is just, and what you've been looking at is the student work, their creation of their websites that they work on throughout the semester. So, thank you. That is